Chapter 14 A Tarnished Scent. The ER nurse said Blue's eyeball would heal. It had only been scratched by an unidentified flying object. Granny Eve had very kindly not told the nurse that the UFO in question was a tiddlywink. They left the hospital with a bottle of eye drops and instructions to come back later in the week to see about removing Blue's cast. On the way home, he took advantage of the long car ride and the distance from Murky Branch to call his dad from his cell phone. It took 3 tries, but he finally picked up. "Hey there, Skeeter, how are things?" He sounded like himself, easygoing, relaxed. "Dad," said Blue, surprised despite himself. "Hi, I'm in the car with Granny Eve right now, so we can talk." "Tell him I said hello," Granny Eve said. "Granny Eve says hello," Blue repeated. "How are you? Did you get my messages about how many relatives have moved in? I'm sleeping in the attic now." Blue hadn't, necessarily, expected his dad to react to this news with shock and horror. He had never been an overly protective parent. He'd taught Blue to swim by tying parachute cord around his waist and then dangling him in the deep end of a hotel pool while he started to paddle. But Blue had thought he might get a little sympathy. "That's good," his dad said. "Gives you a chance to get away from them all, and you'll have space to yourself." This struck Blue as a strange take on the situation. Blue had always had his space to himself. He'd always had his own room when they lived in apartments, and he had had his own room when they lived in hotels. "Well, it's kind of dirty up there." "I'm sure your granny can help you fix it up nice." It was true that Granny Eve was trying. She'd stopped by a store on the way back from the hospital and bought Blue a lamp and a new pillow and a set of sheets. But that wasn't the point. The point was that Blue was living in an attic, and not even a clean one. "Where are you staying?" Blue asked. At a hotel he knew, a fancy one. "I'll send your granny some money to buy stuff for you. Ask her how much she needs." "I don't want her to have to buy stuff for me," said Blue. "I want you to come and get me early." His dad didn't answer. Then in a gruff voice he said, "We've talked about this. I'm making some decisions right now, and it's best if you're with your granny. And with Mom Myrtle dying, you should spend time with your great-grandma, too." Blue's insides clenched. They hadn't known Mom Myrtle was dying when his dad left. And if his dad knew now, that meant he had been getting Blue's messages. "Dad, ask your granny how much money she needs." Blue didn't want to do that. But then he thought about the sheets and the lamp, and the fact that his grandmother was putting up with a whole house full of people who weren't helping her with the bills. "Granny Eve," he said stiffly, "he wants to know how much money you need to watch me, just until the end of the summer." Granny Eve raised her eyebrows. Blue saw her grip on the steering wheel tighten. "Not a tarnished cent," she said. "I've got more than enough to take care of you." Maybe that was true, but Blue had begun to understand that his grandmother didn't tell people when she needed help. She was always the one who did the helping, whether that meant holding her tongue while Mom Myrtle had fun ordering the relatives around, or taking in a grandson she hadn't seen in years. "She says a few $100s should cover it," Blue told his dad. Granny Eve shot him a look. "Good," his dad said. "I'll have it to her soon." He sounded relieved. "We're getting close to Murky Branch," said Blue. "I guess the phone will die." "Okay, take care." "Remember to check your messages," said Blue. Maybe he'd heard about Mom Myrtle from someone else. "I've left you a few." His dad didn't answer. The call had dropped. Granny Eve shook her head. "I wish you hadn't done that. I really don't need your daddy's money." "It's fair," said Blue. "He didn't even tell you he was coming to bring me here. And with all the other relatives eating everything in the house." "That's not for you to worry about," she said. "He didn't mind anyway," Blue grumbled. "He said he'd send it." Granny Eve turned the Thunderbird off the highway. Clouds of dust chased them down the dirt road. "Sometimes," she said in a measured voice, "people would rather give you money than other, harder things." "Like what?" "Like their time. Don't go asking for money when what you want is something more valuable, Blue." Chapter 15 Reckless. The next morning, Howard and the twins woke Blue up early with buckets, mops, and brooms in their hands. "Granny Eve insisted we help you clean," Jenna yawned as she dragged a stack of boxes to the edge of the room. "I don't know why it couldn't have waited until after lunch." It wasn't a terrible job, especially not with company, and after half an hour, Granny Eve brought up 2 plates filled with biscuits and fig preserves. "One plate for Howard," she said. "One for the rest of you. And I hope you enjoy it because it's the last of the groceries until someone picks up more." With food in hand, even Jenna stopped complaining, and Howard was having a wonderful time making fun of Blue. "It was a wink," he said, sprawling across Blue's air mattress and shoving a biscuit into his mouth. He swallowed. "You almost got blinded by a tiddlywink. I want to make so many jokes." "I don't," Ida exclaimed. She was trying to rearrange the boxes full of trophies around the window so that Blue would be able to see out. "Blue, what were you thinking? People like us have to be careful. Do you see me with gerbil treats glued to my forehead?" "No, because I don't want to encourage Jenna's pets to chew my face off." "The Gerbellion wouldn't do that," said Jenna. "They know you're off limits." "I was thinking that I've had enough of losing," said Blue. "I was thinking that trying a few board games was better than trying nothing at all." He looked around, wondering what to do with his new beanbag chair. Howard had carried it up the stairs, but Blue had a feeling it was another gift from Ida. It was hot pink with yellow polka dots. Not exactly Howard's style. And from what little Blue had seen of her, Jenna enjoyed exciting colors like white and beige. "It's a good thing you didn't let the neighbor girl talk you into something really dangerous," said Howard, still snorting with laughter. "Like go fish." "Howard!" "It's fine, Ida." Blue hauled a box labeled A. Montgomery out of the way to make room for the beanbag. It was a box he'd been careful not to open. The A could have stood for a lot of Montgomerys, but Blue thought the handwriting looked familiar. He didn't need to see any more trophies, especially ones with his dad's name on them. Howard's right. It's stupid for a game of tiddlywinks to be dangerous, and it's ridiculous to be scared all the time of people picking fights with me. "Hey!" said Howard, worry creasing his forehead. "I didn't mean it like that. I was just kidding. And I hate it," Blue said. "I hate that the whole family ignores me because I'm too much of a loser to matter." Ida gasped. "Blue, So I'm not going to do it anymore." Blue liked that he sounded calm, steady, like the kind of person who made important decisions and stuck with them. "Tumble Wilson's going to help me break my curse." The attic fell silent. When Blue looked up, he saw that even Jenna was eyeing him with a worried expression on her face. "Whoa!" said Howard. "Back up. That's not a good idea." "It's the only idea that makes sense." "No," said Ida, shaking her head wildly. "No, it's a horrible idea." "You're not going to do anything rash, are you?" Jenna asked. "Because I'm pretty sure Montgomerys have tried to break their fates before, and I'm pretty sure we would know if it had worked." Blue stared back down at the box, at that spiky letter A. "Blue," said Howard, in the most serious tone Blue had ever heard him use. "We all know about having parents who are complicated," shouted Ida. Howard rolled his eyes. "Yeah, complicated. But you don't want to make things even more complicated by getting reckless." Blue rounded on them. "Reckless isn't bad when you've got nothing to lose. Maybe if other Montgomerys had been more reckless, we wouldn't be in this mess." Ida looked faint. "What are you going to do?" "I'm not going to be a doormat ever again. Not even for fate."